Hey everyone, it's Jeff Fisher of High School Football America in the NFL Play Football studio, and it's my favorite time of year. We've got number one right here. We're going around the country with all 32 of the Coach of the Years for the various NFL teams, and we're starting in Nevada. We're starting with the Las Vegas Raiders Coach of the Year, the Tom Flores Coach of the Year. His name is Rob Hummel, and he is from Spanish Springs. Great year, undefeated 5A state champ. Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Well, first, as I always do at this time of year, sometimes we got some small schools in there. Now you're 5A, so you're a big school, but you're in the northern part of Nevada, and a lot of people don't know about. Everybody knows Vegas, right? Oh, they've got all those great teams, the Bishop Gormans and all that, but you guys are setting a tone up there in the north. So you're north of Reno, I know that. Let's talk to the people around the country. Tell us a little bit about your small community and how football fits into it.
Yeah. So Spanish Springs is on the north side of Sparks. Sparks and Reno are basically one city. Um, and our community has been growing quite a bit, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. And, this whole Reno Sparks area, there's several high schools at the 5A level. There's 12 5A, or excuse me, there's six 5A and six 4A. Used to be all in one division, but they split it up. But it's a great community. We have a lot of youth in our programs with the Pop Warner system and things of that nature. And I think Northern Nevada kind of gets a little bit underrated. As you said, you got those schools in Vegas that typically get a lot of publicity, but there's a good brand of football that's played in Northern Nevada. We got a really competitive 5A division up here. We've had a couple different champions over the last several years. It's not the same teams that you see all the time in terms of winning it, and that part's cool. That keeps a competitive balance. And when we do get to the state championship game, the team from our divisions had a lot of success in that game, especially since the recent shuffling of how they do the state stuff. So,
Yeah.
good football up here for sure.
Yeah, Spanish Springs winning the 5A championship, finishing number four in the Nevada top 10 that's powered by NFL Play Football. I said an undefeated season. You got to play at a Legion. Before we get into, the reason you're here, which is, the Coach of the Year award, let's get a little bit of props going to the players and the team and the community. I would assume, let's see, you played the championship game on the 25th of November. Here we are, what's today? The 8th or ninth? I can't even remember what
Eighth,
the
yeah,
date.
eighth, yeah.
But I'm assuming there's probably still a lot of excitement going on around there. What's the feedback been over the last couple of weeks?
It's been great. I mean, the community, come out to support us quite a bit. We've had a lot of different businesses within the community step up, whether it's donations to the program or donations for the state trip or just a lot of things along those lines. There's been a lot of media coverage, which has been great for our community and for the team. We just had our football banquet last night, to culminate the end of the season. So that was a good experience for all the kids and athletes and families involved. And definitely still a buzz in the community, being it's so recent. That's for sure.
Yeah. And the only bad part of doing these interviews is I would love to give you the ability to give every kid's name on the roster a shout out here. We can't do that. It might take a little long to do that, but I would like you to take a little bit of time and talk about maybe some of your leadership, senior leaders, whomever played a role in what turned out to be an outstanding season for you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That is challenging to just try to name a few kids. I spoke last night to the fact that to win a state championship, it takes everybody on the team and accepting their role, whether it's scout team or a second team or they're a guy that plays 60 plays a game. Um, so we had a really good group that bought into that. We had a great group of seniors who graduate, 33 seniors off of our roster, which is a big number. And those guys had a lot of big game experience. I'll start with a few. So our quarterback had outstanding year. Tyson McNeil is his name. He was offensive player of the year in the North, and led us all season long. We averaged 44 points a game on offense. Big part of the reason was his play, and the way that he spread the ball around. Just had a season for the ages. Statistically with yards and 75% completion percentage, 53 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. He just had heck of a year. We had on offense, we had 8 offensive players score at least 3 touchdowns, which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
Um, our offensive line played extremely well. We had 3 seniors there, and Neary Gonzalez, Aiden Doherty, and Grant Beckman that anchored that offensive line. Sandwiched two young sophomores in between them, and the offensive line did outstanding all year. The amount of pass attempts we had, it was like around 350 for the season. We only gave up 7 sacks in the entire year in 13 games with that many pass attempts. So they played extremely well, not only in the pass protection but in the run game. Getting Cooper Milligan going, he's our lead back, and then we had some threats at the receiver positions. My youngest son Brady caught over 80 balls, 16 touchdowns. Had a heck of a year. He was first team All Region for receiver, and then also on the defensive side at free safety as well. And he's actually 2-time MVP in Northern Nevada in our league, back-to-back years. He had a great year. He was consistent week in and week out, and was a guy that teams had to account for on both sides of the ball and on special teams, because he was a guy in a punt return game also. And then our starting tight end had a great year. He's the first team All-Region guy, Braden McDonald. Had another receiver that was first team All League that stepped up as a senior and just had an outstanding season. That's Jackson Sundin. So I mean, those guys offensively were the ones that really stepped up, and then defensively, um, one of the things that we took pride in, and I announced to the team last night, we didn't trail all season long in
Oh,
13 games. Which is a standard that's going to be really hard to replicate, in the future. I mean, that's just almost unheard of.
yeah.
A big part of that, though, is our offense. 12 out of the 13 games, offense scored on their first drive of the game. Not just scored a field, but a touchdown on the first
Mm-hmm.
drive of the game. So they played really good complementary football. Defensively, allowed about 13 points a game. As far as standouts there, on the defensive line, our 2 defensive ends had great years, and Isaiah Blinkensop and Roman Cervantes. Um, Isaiah set the school record for sacks for a career at 16, and Roman set the single season record with 11. And we set the team record with 29 sacks on the year, which was a good year for us in 13 games. We got ahead a lot of games and forced teams to be one dimensional, and those guys got after it. Our interior D linemen, Freddie Corona and Nico Delamora. Nico had a hell of a year for us. First team guy as an interior defensive lineman, and then linebackers behind them were Jaden Chase and Connor Melloway, and those guys did a great job all season long, making plays for us and being sure tacklers. And behind them was my son I mentioned before, my son Brady, playing free safety. He had a great year, 5 picks, third on the team in tackles. And then our overhangs and corners, in conjunction with the rest of the defense, did an outstanding job doing their job, playing their position the way we ask them to, especially with all the different types of offenses we run into, and RPO and run schemes and things like that. And it was just a fun group of kids. I know you said we can't mention them all. I tried to do as much as I could there in about a minute and a half. So
You did pretty
sorry
well.
to let you guys out, but
You did well, and guys, it's not coach's fault. That's my limit that I placed on him. But you know who you are, and the job you did to win a championship there for the school. Let's talk about the reason you're here, which is the award. I guess it was a surprise to you. I know the Raiders like to surprise people. Talk a little bit about how big of a surprise it was.
well, earlier in the week, my admin said, "Hey, coach, on Friday we were gonna come in the last few minutes of zero period and want to talk to the group of guys, or whatever." And I just thought they were doing, because we had just come off a region championship, and I thought they were gonna talk to the guys about that and the upcoming trip to Vegas, and I was completely oblivious to it. And then we walk into the gym and have everybody sit down, and still didn't know what was going on. And all of a sudden I see representatives from the Raiders, and Robert Gallery rolls in, and didn't recognize him with the clean haircut that he had. He always had the long hair once upon a time when he was beating people up in the NFL. But
Yeah.
it was great. I mean, it was an honor. Definitely a surprise. I love surprises. That was a cool surprise. Like I said in the interview when I got it, like I usually know what's going on in the building, especially down in the weight room and gym area, and they got that one on me.
Good.
Um, but it's a product of just a great coaching staff. Meeting up with a great group of kids that put an outstanding product on the field, and just really appreciate the honor. I'm just grateful.
Yeah, and you mentioned the coaching staff there. Obviously, this your name's on the award, but just like the championship, right? That didn't come down to just you, not just the players. You got the staff and all that. Talk a little bit about the guys that you put together there and their role in this year's championship.
Absolutely. We got an outstanding coaching staff. Offensive coordinator Nick Coughlin. He's a guy that coached me for a few years, and he had to move to Texas for a little bit, and then came back and got him back involved as the OC, and he just had an outstanding job of play calling all season long. I mean, you don't average 44 points a game without great offensive game plans and getting the guys ready to play, and guys around him helping him out with scout film and team preparation. Coaches like Derek McNeil and Ty Gregg, and our offensive line coach Terry Jefferson, our tight ends coach Trace Patterson. They just did an outstanding job each and every week, instilling a lot of confidence in our team, knowing that, hey, we're going to score points and we're going to take care of the football and be efficient with it. And we played with tempo offensively, and it gave teams a lot of problems dealing with our fast tempo offense, especially when we got rolling, and then being able to spread the ball around in so many different weapons offensively. On the defensive side, I still run our defense as the head coach, but our defensive line coach and Michael Jefferson, and then linebackers in John Patterson, and then our secondary coaches in Gary Thomas and Sean Stewart. We did a same thing. Coming up with game plans to stop the team's best players. Figure out which matchups we could potentially exploit, and then making sure that we were prepared as well as we could to deal with some of the stuff we anticipated seeing. And those guys did an outstanding job. Just we preach trying to make all our football players very football intelligent, so that they can adapt in game. They can adapt to things that we haven't seen, because every team that prepares is going to have something that you haven't potentially seen yet. And it's a lot easier to make adjustments in game when you have intelligent football players. So we try to get those guys not just learning, just be so robotic with a particular spot. Hey, this is all I do, but just understanding, concepts and how teams try to attack you and how you need to try to attack them. And I mean, they just did a phenomenal job all season long. So just really proud of that group of guys that they were able to have the success that they did, and hopefully we get them all back next year for next season.
Smart players make smart coaches, right? And vice versa. No doubt about that.
Absolutely.
Hey, coach. So you win the award, they pull one over on you, you get surprised, and then you get the trip to Vegas, get to play in Elysian. What the heck was that like? What was that like to talk to the players about, hey guys, we got a football game here. Let's not stare up and look at
Yeah,
this wonderful stadium here.
yeah, exactly. No, I mean that was one of the things I exactly mentioned to them. We had to prepare for things that we're not normally used to. Obviously, the stadium's one thing, but limited warm up time, just because you have 4 games being played
Yep.
in one day and time's limited. So very gracious Silverado High School down in Vegas. They allowed us to practice at their facility the day before, so we ran through a abbreviated warm up that we anticipated having. That helped quite a bit. Um, Getting the guys in the stadium and getting the starstruck looks off their faces, that took a few minutes. But I mean, this group of guys just all season long, regardless of where we were playing, regardless of the opponent, when the whistle blew for the game to start, these guys got dialed in, and they played really well. I mean, they played good football and were focused, and all had the same goal. I think that was the big thing, and really didn't care who was having the success as long as the team was having success. And it's just a great environment. I mean, the stadium's state of the art. We were well taken care of down there. They did a great job of being hospitable and setting us up with whatever we needed, and just created a really cool environment. And it's gonna have some memories for everybody that was involved, probably for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Because I told the kids going in, I was like, just be grateful because a lot of people never get an opportunity to play in a stadium like that, be on the field and do something like that, and you're getting an opportunity to play there on a state championship game, and they didn't take it for granted. I mean,
Yeah.
they seized the opportunity, and it was good stuff for sure.
40, 50 years from now, the old glory days playing in the background. That's going to be one of the things they talk about. No, no,
Absolutely, yeah.
no doubt about that. Hey, obviously the Tom Flores Coach of the Week, and now you're the Coach of the Year. But the Raiders do a whole lot more than just this award. Whether it's the 11 on programs, a lot of stuff for coaches around the state itself. And I was just wondering, what does it mean to you to know that the NFL is reaching down to guys at your level?
It means a lot. I mean, I've been a fan of the NFL ever since I was a little kid, and a lot of these high school players throughout the country, the same thing. And then Nevada, it's first time they've had an NFL team, so that's been really cool for the state just in general. And they started out by really reaching out and getting involved in a lot of the high schools in the Vegas area where the stadium and the team is located. But now they've branched out to Northern Nevada and other parts of the state as well, which is really cool to see. That them getting involved with those things because there's kids everywhere that love the game of football, and anytime that you've got some support and um, help from a professional franchise that's in your state, I think that just makes football that much more important to each of those kids, knowing that hey, like these
Yeah.
guys are actually in our high school and they actually like care, and they see stuff on TV and it's just really cool, experience for everybody that was involved.
Yeah. And the last one, this is my favorite question in doing these interviews over the last several years that I get to pose at each of the coaches. Now, there's going to be 32 finalists for the Don Shula Award, which is a big deal. And, even if you're young, I think somewhere along the line, you probably picked up Don Shula. You look like you're not that young. You probably know who Don Shula is. But my question is, and it's a fun one, did you ever, ever, ever in your wildest imagination think that you would hear Don Shula and Rob Hummel in the same sentence?
Not a chance. No. Just grateful to be nominated for that award. I do remember watching Don Shula quite often, coaching Dan Marino and the Dolphins back in the day. Just what an honor. I mean, to even be considered for an award like that. Um, you know, for that to be in his name, without even knowing the man, he must have had quite an impact on the people that he was involved with, whether it was coaching young kids or coaching grown men like he was doing in the NFL, and leaving a lasting impact. And that's always been something that when I got involved with coaching, it was all about the relationships and trying to help youth become productive young men and great members of the community and be great fathers and brothers and husbands and all the things that we want young men to become and establish those character traits that help you be successful in life. And like I said, even without knowing Mr. Shula, I'm sure that he helped a lot of men, do that throughout the course of his coaching career. And to be even mentioned the same sentence, it's just an honor. Just truly blessed and grateful.
Yeah, well, congratulations. I can understand in this short time we've spent together why you are the honoree for the Raiders. Wish you best of luck when it comes to who gets the two awards at the end of the year. But we can understand why you're in the running for it. And thanks for all you do for all the people in your community there in this great game of high school football. So thanks and congratulations.
Appreciate it very much. Really enjoyed the interview and taking the time to do it. And hopefully. Hopefully you have as much enjoyment with the rest of these interviews and it's cool that you guys are doing this, just totally grateful for the experience and the opportunity and um, yeah, I mean it's just humbling. It really hasn't even set in yet, to be honest with you, with all of the stuff that's going on, but just truly grateful and blessed and appreciate you guys for doing it.